It's been a wild fucking week on Twitter. Um, and before I get into the real topic, which is Jack Perry returning, um, this stuff is getting out of control on Twitter. As far as like just everything that happened with the Tony Khan and Jinder Mahal fallout, and then Eric Bischoff jumping in, Dave Meltzer, all the grifting. Everyone's just so unhappy, I think, with I don't know. I don't know what they're really unhappy with. I have some ideas.
I
Is
mean, do you want to go blow by blow through all of the like, not necessarily like the like quoting the tweets, being like the gist of what happened?
Yeah, like it all started kind of with Tony Khan like replying to the USA Network, who was talking about cage match. Obviously, in recent times, Tony Khan is talked about cage match ratings and using them to kind of gauge fan reaction, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, cage match has kind of been under attack ever since this has been kind of brought to the public. I saw something today where I was like, yo, this isn't normal, man. Like, what about wrestling just makes people act like this? And it's like sprung to the whole thing with Jinder Mahal getting brought up by Tony Khan, where he's saying Jinder did not win a match in the last 365 days. So how is he a legitimate contender as compared to
Well,
Hook?
right, that was brought because people were giving AEW slash Hook shit for challenging Samoa Joe to a title match on this coming week's episode of Dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah. And whether that was a loud complaint or a soft complaint, it got to Tony Khan. And then from there, it exploded. People kind of read that thing however they wanted to take it, thinking he was banging on Jinder Mahal, calling him trash. I didn't read that. I thought it was a booking critique, but
It was. And to be fair, for those that took it as such, Tony Khan has in the past like shat on talent that is not his, which I think is things something he should never do.
yes,
So
I can recall
he
that.
didn't while he didn't do it this time, he's done it before, so people
I think it was like
took it
that
that way.
Undertaker and John Cena thing or whatever. Like I
Yes.
didn't like that. I thought that was kind of out of
Right.
bounds. But this one was like more like a zinger at the booking. But people
It
take it how they
was.
take it. From there, it kind of exploded. People were saying, "Hey, what about Abaddon?" And then he set the straight on record straight on that. From there, a lot of stuff started popping up with Eric Bischoff and how Bischoff gets down with his thing. He doesn't.
Grift.
Yeah, it's all a grift. Like he doesn't watch the shows. His 83 weeks content, the actual 83 week stuff, I believe has as long as he's been doing that show, that shit's been over. So I don't like we know what's going on here. And then obviously the assault on Cage Match. We had a lot of shows this weekend. New Japan, TNA, AEW had a show. Started seeing wrestlers move around. We're gonna definitely talk about the Deonna Purrazzo thing, which is just like I think there's another portion of this that I don't. I think people have well intentions, but they're not getting either. And it all kind of like I'm seeing just all this general unhappiness from wrestling fans, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like Wrestle Kingdom just happened. Like AEW's been on a great run.
WWE's doing
WWE's
well.
doing well. Like
What the
in
fuck are we all complaining about?
it,
Right?
like what is really driving the unrest? Like is it like just people just can't take the fact there's a second American promotion, like, and from there it's like just this it was this grenade that was thrown in the room, so everybody has to act up. So like when I see like these journalists like saying like, oh yeah, TNA is a legit number two now out of their spite, when there are people that are known to be very negative on AEW, and it's like how are you saying this when I believe, and this is not a shot at TNA or anything, I believe they did, I don't know how many pay-per-view buys, maybe 6,000 pay-per-view buys. I'm not sure. And then like AEW's doing 140,000 pay-per-view buys. It's like, this isn't the same. Like, we don't have to lie. Like I don't have to say that, AEW's television deal is just as much as WWE. No, it's not. Like, we're post fact. This shit, and it ties into we were talking about the politics stuff earlier. It was like these people have dug their feet in and are acting up in any way possible to sow unrest. There was something, a fake arena bulletin that Brian Last was retweeting and saying it was given to him not to cheer CM Punk fans. Nick Hausman, that scoundrel, is retweeting that stuff just with no context. And it's like, these are people that are in Hausman's in his case, he's calling himself a journalist, right? And you're retweeting these clearly fake like things like we've seen. And it's like, who's going through the trouble to make all of these things? And if you want to hear more, Nick Hausman getting lit on fire, listen to the Trish and Sarah podcast from last week. But yeah, man, I just have noticed this stuff, and it's like, it's sad, man. And it's discouraging. It makes you not want to like really interact with the app. I try to stay plugged in on this stuff, so I understand it at least. Like, I don't want to be caught off guard and then not know what the okie doke is or whatever. So that's why I kind of stay saying, oh, this is where this is coming from, this is this, because I'm not gonna get fooled. Like, I refuse to be the last person to find out about this stuff, to like come across that thing and actually believe it. Like, this is so far from the Facebook group, wrestling group, like what this show and this network by proxy is. It's like, we're trying to cut through all of that shit. Like, and
I think we've always been.
Yeah, and it's no.
There's room for opinion on what you like and what you don't like out of whatever show you're watching that's a pro wrestling show. It's another thing to just like throw out stuff that did not happen, is not true, for the sake of making a point towards whatever your argument is. What's the point? It's dishonest. Why are we doing this? And it's like, it's all tied to all this stuff of like the internet and the way people manipulate, the way you can manipulate the internet now, especially with the way that Twitter is like, it's so much easier to like get these things across as opposed to immediately like tossed off to the side and get a community notes put on it. Like, because is ultimately the more important thing is like, as you mentioned earlier, like the FBI tweeting Happy MLK Day to a person they fucking interrogated and sent a you should kill yourself letter to, right? That's far more important than fucking fake fighting. But the disinformation campaign and that kind of stuff is happening in every aspect of social media, because this isn't a pro wrestling problem. This is a people problem. The same thing when we talk about, another person gets shot unjustly by the police, and we're talking about like, what can we do as far as training and blah 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 to make sure these things that never happen to these people. And it's like, you can't solve policing because this is a human problem. This is a societal issue, and everyone in the society, or everyone that's a cop and has a badge and a gun and a taser and pepper spray and a nightstick, is in the society. Unless we're gonna find motherfuckers from Superman's planet to come here, we can't solve this. So yeah, man, like this is all a part of this, and this is like the thing of and it's been happening, and this is why we talk about like whoever media person has any bit of credibility or whatever else, or any kind of limelight or whatever else, that starts going one way or the other, we start getting on them. Because like when Sam started doing this shit, we were on him. When Raj Giri started doing this shit, we get on him. Because it's like, this is what's happening. Like when Seth, when Meltzer and Seth have had their back and forth over the years, I'm always like, hey man, y'all should be doing this. Especially you, Meltzer.
All it does is like sow discord amongst the worst people that gather at the bottom of comment sections. And I'm here to tell you, the bottom part is rising now. Like like it's going up, and what's happening is smart people are using their gift for evil. Like someone like Eric Bischoff can come along, not
He knows better.
not a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination, knows what to say, sees the way the wind is blowing on a particular issue,
Right.
plants themselves there. Whoever listens to Eric Bischoff makes it, roll down stream. Eventually it reaches someone like Tony Khan. Tony Khan goes back and forth with them, and ultimately it's like, yeah, in the moment it's kind of entertaining. You see Tony Khan light the guy on fire, whatever, right? But people don't remember Tony Khan ultimately like getting the correction off. People just remember the flame war, the gathering, this is why I don't like them. This is why I don't do anything with this. This is why, like, and it all gets like swallowed up.
It's me and you. The thing that me and you have, and why we bonded so much over the years, and why we became friends, and why we do this show, and why I think the show works so well is because I think the 10-year anniversary you mentioned, like, me and you have good memories.
Mm-hmm.
So like when people start doing this, and I was actually saying this to somebody, because they're like, this is oddly specific how you remember this. I tried to tell my doctor about like these things, or as far as like remembering my medical history or whatever. So I'm remembering these oddly specific things. And I was like, and she was like, it's odd that you it's like, oh, it's interesting you remember all this stuff. I was like, yeah, it's good. It's good to have a good memory until you remember all this stuff, and you have to, and like you're in relationships with people or whatever else, and like they feel like you're keeping score as opposed to just being friends. Because like, I just remember the shit. I just remember it. So it's like, I'm not keeping score, or at least I'm not trying to. I just happen to remember. So when people do when people with me, over the time when I get in arguments with people that I know, and then I'm just like, what about this, and this? And be like, how you remember? I just remember. I'm sorry. I just do. So like, and I use the points for who wins and who loses and who was right and who was wrong or whatever else, and all this kind of stuff as like who I should listen to and who I should continue to ignore. Those will be 100% right. I just tend to gravitate with people that are more right than not, or have or I feel like their process for how they judge things are better than others over time. Obviously, you're gonna get into wrong results, but that's the process of results that I talk about on the show every so often. Mm-hmm. So this is a part of that. Like, that's the reason why, I over the decade, I've just loathed how the debate shows that were political shows have turned into the debate shows that are the sports shows. So you're not actually learning or anything substantive. You're just learning like this person, these two people on whatever issue yelling at each other back and forth, and like they go back and forth over and over. No one's ever just lays it down. It's like, all right, you won the war on this, right? Like somewhere somebody we're not doing it. Somewhere somebody is still trying to hold up the Darren Williams, Chris Paul thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's always, and obviously I'm just talking about. I said this poppy, but like. There is the ongoing Jordan in LeBron thing going, right?
Right.
There is still like this Durant or Steph thing, or Durant and LeBron thing, or Steph and LeBron thing that happens on the internet all the time. And it's like, this is so fucking stupid. Time has passed on this stuff. We know who is better. You just like this person more. It's fine that you like this person more. That person was fucking awesome. You can have your taste or whatever else, but like, we don't have to do this back and forth in shit posts on, oh, LeBron at 39, rim to dunk. Oh, Steph miss a free throw. What are we doing? Are you enjoying what you're watching? Because I've enjoyed watching Steph Curry and LeBron James. I've enjoyed watching these Seth Rollins matches on pay-per-view. I've enjoyed watching Gunther on pay-per-view, right? Like, I've enjoyed Rey Mysterio come out here on pay-per-view every few months. I enjoyed Bad Bunny. I've enjoyed Orange Cassidy. Do y'all enjoy any of this? And that's your overall point. It's like, all this stuff happening. It's like, do y'all enjoy this? It's like, the algorithm is making people miserable. And people don't realize the algorithm is meant to fight off negativity. once you learn that, it's so much easier to be like, oh, this is bullshit. This is all bullshit. It's not a real place anyway. It like the person that just dunked on me and retweeted and quote tweeted me or whatever else, saying that my one thing is wrong, whatever else. Like, if I saw this person face to face, they would not talk to me like this.
Right. There was,
we have fucked up human communication interaction. And the thing is, like, these things were meant to make it faster and you to see some of the things that you never would have saw. And ultimately, like, Twitter, TikTok, all social media, at its best, is fucking amazing. Right? Think of all the memes you save to your phone. Think of all the videos you save to your phone. Think
about the people that you meet.
Stuff. Right. Think of all the shows and content and things and media you never otherwise would have seen if not for the algorithm knows you like this one, like something, and it found somebody that made something on the other side of the fucking planet that we know that you really think we may enjoy, right? For you to stay on the app. But on the other side is that for you to stay on the app, you also got to give you shit that will make you roll your eyes or make you blow up. And that's the trade-off. And sometimes the trade-off ain't fucking worth it.
Yeah. It just seems like the last 4-5 years since AEW's existed, it's been like, I don't know if it was Rich or Joe Lanza was talking about it. Like the WWE AEW thing is worse than pretty much anything. Like, because like the amount of people that are involved in this,
we have more weapons.
The ease of the ease of communication, Facebook groups, TikTok on or wrestling on TikTok, wrestling on Instagram, wrestling on Twitter, wrestling on Reddit. These are all distinct places with their own kind of languages,
flavor of hate,
communication style, flavor of hate, all that. And it's like, and then YouTube I didn't mention.
Oh God. So
like it's crazy. Like I saw something with Deonna Purrazzo, and this isn't anything new that she's talked about, and she addressed it, and there were people making comments about her appearance, her weight, her ring gear, contrasting it to WWE. WWE wouldn't let something like this happen. And I've seen a lot of people.
I guess we're forgetting the part where, and we're also forgetting the part where, like, she was in WWE less than 3 years ago.
Correct. And then I saw a lot of people obviously coming to her aid. She spoke up for herself. Shout out to her for doing that. But something I think, when you're speaking on behalf, if you want to go up for Deonna Purrazzo in this situation, I promise you, uploading a picture of her and going on about how sexy she is not the answer.
No, it's not.
I kept seeing this over and over and over, and then like she's a total smoke show. Like that's not the correct counter to that. Like that's like this person, they deserve dignity. That's where you got to begin.
So, bro, like I typed in Deonna and then typed in the first 4 letters of her name, right?
Yeah.
And what pops up in the automatic thing is Deonna Purrazzo weight, Deonna Purrazzo body.
Right.
I didn't even get a chance to type in her fucking name. You know what I'm saying?
We see the combos. All this stuff is related. All this stuff is related.
Yeah, and because now she was in WWE, in NXT and WWE. She went off to TN Impact, and now she's been thrust into
the wrestling war.
She's been thrust into this, and it sucks, man. It sucks. And I mean, not always, but she's gotten it for years. But now it's going to be amplified because people deem this to be an Outlaw Mud Show, and therefore Outlaw Mud Show has these optic images or these optic problems. And optic problems is, one of the athletes doesn't look like how you want him to look.
Incredible.
Yeah. Fucking sucks, man. It's like, it sucks. It just does. It's always sucked. And this is another chapter of it. It is going to be another chapter next week, and next week after that. And like as you mentioned, like all these shows, like
Like I don't
AEW's
say
doing well.
like I don't say this
Post MJF title change is they've done well.
like I don't bring up all this stuff to claim to even have the answer for it. I just have to bring it up because it's like I don't know what we do. Like
sometimes you got to check in. Yeah. Sometimes you got to check in and be like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, I feel like I just shake the baby a little bit on this. Like, yo, like,
hey, yo, that's a crazy. You gotta shake the baby.
You know, shake the table a little bit. Maybe
please, please, okay. A table, not a.
Yeah.
This man out here with this infant CTE. Whew.
Yeah. Like you gotta shake the table a little bit on this because it's like, as you mentioned, I think the rest, you know, the companies are doing their things right now, and it's just like, and I think there's a lot of exciting stuff to come. WrestleMania season's happening. The Road to Revolution is happening. New Japan has like some things kind of bubbling that could be interesting or whatever. But man, you would never know it. Like the way people are just going to war over anything right now, and it's like it's a war zone. And I'm not 100% innocent. If I see somebody out here lacking or whatever, I'll get them. But like, I'm not trying to like ruin their lives and like completely just like fuck them up. Like, no, man. Like that's like, you know, it's just disheartening. But to Jack Perry, as I was mentioning, someone else who's getting a lot of this shit from a specific, you know, corner. You know, the Young Bucks thing that also happened this week. You know, they got named as Sting's final opponent, and man, people were upset. But yeah, we'll start with